The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it with a stick, coiling up a plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. He taken a knife from the kitchen, selected for its long, serrated edge, meant for slicing bread. Its teeth had reminded him of a saw blade. He was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. Oh, this is the history of his home and where his family is. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. Kate examines the tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly growing amber caps. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture? Homeopathy? Ayurveda? Magical thinking? She said she never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. Kate examines the glowing amber. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. Kate tries to wipe some mud off her boots. Oh, you got one? Let's see it. Ezra hands Kate the blue puffball he took from the cypress tree. This is Ezra's. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listened to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end. And there was the bird. Ezra hands Kate the blue puffball he took from the cypress tree. Kate, a blue puffball. Interesting. I don't think I've seen this exact species before. This one's too old to be of any use anyway. Puffballs get all dried out like this as they age, until they're so delicate that it only takes the slightest agitation. Kate gently shakes the puffball. It bursts into a cloud of spores. Kate, and the wind does the rest. See? Its weakness is a survival strategy, a kind of radical transformation weakness. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I make a tea out of them, pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushrooms back into her bag. So, what do your parents do? For work, I mean. My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses, and they needed a lot of windows. But then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and the evening. The bakery closed and she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there a lot to see her friends. Do you have family? I left home when I was very young, not much older than you actually. Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out on fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Haha. What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Kate. Alright, it's kind of a nice, simple shape. Pleasant, minimal island geometry. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she collected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medical uses of fungi. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Well, or Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra steps on a plastic bottle, a wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Ezra examines the wooden post. A groove is worn near the top of the post. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti, X plus O, 4EVA. Ezra inspects the contents of his pocket. Ezra says, "It's a mystery. I'll search for clues." She puts out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of her afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Kate, alright, what have you got? Ezra, that stone-faced monument has X plus O 4EVA painted on it. Interesting, what do you think that means? Hugs and kisses forever? Or they could be initials, Xavier and Olivia forever? Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? These cats are creepy. I'm not sure anyone remembers. There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh, I bet people tie their boats there. Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees. Could be, or other travelers and mushroom hunters like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look at the old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. What do you think of it? Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the car game he'd like. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Is it full of ghosts? Oh, I don't know, probably. I mean, no, definitely not. You don't believe in ghosts, do you? Ezra, no. I never met a young kid who really believed in ghosts. Lots of older people do, though. I wonder why that is. Supposedly there's nobody ever on board. No people, I mean. There must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded and host to some eyeless fish that live in the echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. It's an interesting story. Somebody told me she got close to it by accident and I heard a strange wailing sound. She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she'd been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by the current near the cluttered place. Before she knew it, the iron pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive, up close, but eerily silent. The only sounds, she said, were lapping of the lake water against its iron hull, and a faint sort of, well, she said, a chorus of mews. I'll be damned if I know what the sounds like. Ha ha. I've never gotten close enough to the ship myself. More mysterious. They do pile up over time as people forget details. Ezra, thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Kate, mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt them. Well, that's fun. That's an interesting conversation. That's a very interesting conversation. I wonder what that boat has anything to do with this whole story. I'm very curious now. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I hadn't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made and the rocks were placed according to their size. So what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of their overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump that was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lock-Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers say they should just go to the lock or luck. Go with lock or luck, or split the difference with look, or even lick, or really anything else. But it was never going to happen. Greta Luck and Norm Locke were high school sweethearts. They took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formulae and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family business, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Locks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. The natural next step was to start a local paper, what would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families. Lucks on the inner loop and Locks on the outer, or the other way around. And it must have also involved the petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Shannon helped me fix up a mushroom stew in the kitchen. Act 4, Scene 7. The Mucky Mammoth. Gonna make us some dinner. Will. Add a few of these really big caps with the slimy gills. I shouldn't say slimy, moist. The lady in the video called for portobello, but I prefer never to know a mushroom by name. So this is a breakfast stew? It will be, but not today. This stew is for tomorrow. It has to simmer all day. Some things are just better done slowly. We've added the anonymous mushrooms. So next I've got the recipe video on pause next door. I used to follow a recipe I learned from Ida herself, the best cook we've gonna meet on this river. You're gonna meet on this river. Of course, it had a few secret ingredients. She has the good sense to preserve some mystery around her cooking. Better for business. Ida is so shrewd. She swore me not only to secrecy, but to ignorance. I had to promise to forget the recipe just as soon as I'd cook it. Let me tell you, it's not so easy to forget something on purpose as you might think, my friend. Not so easy. Video. Crushed tomatoes, salsa, or even a little ketchup. Here's the thing, nobody has to know. Throw in some more of that spice blend we threw together earlier. Stir all that up and crack a beer, baby. You'll be here for a while. Ezra. What did she just say to do? Will's trying to make this stew right now. She just said to add something red. I saw some maraschino cherries in there. Maybe I can help him figure it out. I got kind of sucked into this program. Will. And even that wasn't enough to convince her. So I trained rigorously in the art of forgetting, studying for months under a master amnesiac. Finally, I learned to forget so quickly and accurately that I was able to convince Ida to share with me the most obscure secrets of her kitchen. As a demonstration of my trustworthiness, I forgot the names of my own parents, right there in front of her. Every time I wanted to cook this legendary stew, I called Ida up on the telephone and asked her for a quick, temporary reminder. Here on the boat, we haven't got a phone line, so I have to seek out culinary wisdom on videotapes of cooking shows. So, back on the matter at hand. Next, we add some crushed tomatoes. Oh, it's you. I thought, never mind. Hello. I don't have any crushed tomatoes. I have some ketchup. Kate, to Shannon. Hey there, could I ask you... To Will, wait. Why are you cooking? We're stopping at Sam's and Ida's in 20 minutes. Will, it's for tomorrow. Kate, oh, well, just don't forget about it this time. I'm not scrubbing up any more boiled over sludge. To Shannon, sorry, listen. I have a favor to ask. There's a package for telephone exchange and I can't get the mammoth back there. Could you deliver it for us? That guy I mentioned from the television station, Dashiell Morse, works there now. Thought you might like to chat with him anyway. Thanks a lot. I've got the dinghy all ready to go. Maybe take your friend with you. One of you can man the outboard motor and the other can aim the flashlight. It's dark. Alright, as soon as this pauses, Act 4, Scene 8. As soon as this pauses, I need to go pee. Echo River Central Exchange. I think I'm gonna go pee now. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, back. Kate, thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. So, you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam's and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of, I don't know how you say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye. Okay. Guess we're just gonna press ahead. Sign. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them. And we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find. And so we guess the water buried them for us. So let this here be the marker for their grave. If any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just try it and see what will happen. Conway. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks worked. Looks like it's been here for a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote this is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you? It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People sure remember this happened. Well, here we are remembering. And I didn't even know it the first time around. But here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. It's crazy, man. So weird. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Haha. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore. My leg. It's just kind of numb. Like it's not there. My shoulder too, actually. That's an old one though, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of those medical bills for my leg. You know, get it all together on a plan, consolidated. What? When did you talk to them about that? Oh, they're around. They're pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You really haven't noticed? Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? Besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lisette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much. But somehow, Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. And now the antique shop is closing up. I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. That's very generous, but I don't need a truck. You can drive it around while you figure out what's next. Hell, you can sleep in it if you need to. It's big enough. Well, just think about it anyway. You'd be doing me a favor, you know. One less thing to deal with. Sign. Visitors to the Echo River spit-nosed brown bat artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary are asked to take extra precaution in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any caves known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, head-wearing eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The spit-nosed brown bat is confused by light. You are using a lantern or other artificial light source. Be aware that it may attract or confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Oh, cool. Little bat houses. So eventually here, I think we're gonna have to shut off our light, I'm guessing. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequencies, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying and it's still needed to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. Conway, I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking